Parakala Prabhakar Garu has come up with the video of capital tragedy regarding the location of capital in Andhra Pradesh state. In fact, he sent his team to me to give some of my views on that. The views which were given by me have been factored into to some extent. After seeing that video, I thought there is a need to focus on some more issues, more specifically to really put the issue in its proper perspective. So, I thought I'll try to address those 3-4 issues in this video. One is the historical legacy and the historical background to the decision of where the capital city should be located. Even in 1952-53, this was not a easy issue to decide. There were strong contenders, strong regional interest, strong regional identities, and a very sincere effort was made by the then leader, Sri Tanguturi Prakasham Garu, to give a proper judicious solution to the whole problem. Even in those days, Vijayawada Guntur area was a preferred destination, but still he felt locating it at Kurnool was a right decision given the strong regional sentiment from Rayalaseema area. The coastal people got reconciled to it for 2 reasons. One, everybody knew it was only a matter of time before Vishalandhra would be formed and the capital would be shifted to Hyderabad. So, Kurnool was seen as a temporary capital. If Andhra state as a separate state continued, how it would have played in the course of the politics between both the regions, only one can guess. So, from there we went over to Hyderabad. Either when we were thrown out of Madras or sent out of Hyderabad, it was action of somebody else, not our own. But when it came to Amaravati, the problem is a self-created one. Failure to see this historical background, accept, appreciate the existence of strong regional identities and sentiments in terms of Rayalaseema area, coastal area, within coastal area, the north coastal, the south coastal, the central coastal, and the lack of a broader identity which can strongly subsume these regional identities. That identity is always there, but the regional identities were also equally strong. So, when these regional identities were so strong, any decision to locate the capital city should have been taken factoring in all these things, taking this historical background in its right perspective. If that type of a attitude was there from the political leadership at that time in 2014, things would not have come to this pass at this point of time. I do remember some former chief secretaries, DGPs, high court judges belonging to Rayalaseema area meeting the then chief minister and making an impassioned appeal requesting him to locate the capital city not at Amaravati, the place, of course by then it was not so specifically known the place, but to locate it at Donakunda, which would be a place which the Rayalaseema could have wound up much easier and much better. But then the CM at that time was not in a mood to listen to them and went ahead with location of this capital city at Amaravati. This one-sided unilateral decision to locate the capital city at Amaravati is the root cause of all the problem today. So, let us accept that. I mean, unless we accept that and analyze that, any solution to this will not be something which will be long lasting. So, this is one factor which needs to be kept in mind. Second is the issue of land pooling. This is another area which has complicated the whole issue. Was there a need, necessity to pool about 30,000 acres of land to build a capital city? Definitely not. What we were trying to build was a mega city, not a capital city, and a mega city based on a speculative value, not a real value. For those 30,000 acres to get the type of a value that was promised to them, because the CM himself told them, I'll make you GMRs, GVKs, etc., you give me the land. I think that was, it could never have happened with the capital or without the capital. Once that speculation runs its course, the crashing of prices and then the consequential impact of it on those who gave the land to the capital city would have been equally hard with the shifting of the capital taking place or not. So, this whole thing, because there was no proper scientific study done on this issue. Till then, wherever land pooling was done, it was done in small areas adjacent to an already developed urban agglomeration, so that value addition is easy. The only big land pooling that was attempted was at in Gujarat for an industrial corridor. I forget that name. I think Dhalera or Daheja. Now there, of course, it was not a success. It was at a very initial stage. In fact, Amaravati would go down as the first land pooling experiment on a massive scale in the whole of the world. So, in a way, you are experimenting, you are getting into unknown territories. So, this is another thing which has really complicated the issue of the capital city. The third most important thing is neutrality. Whenever you are locating a capital city out of a compromise between different areas which have strong identities and strong interests, you discuss, you consult and arrive at a consensus and locate it at a neutral area which everybody can claim as their own. Unfortunately, that neutrality principle, if you apply, Amaravati does not stand a chance either as a neutral city or as an inclusive city. Of course, a lot of statistics are being thrown. The people mostly living in that area are BCs, SCs and STs, but what about the land holding? Land holding pattern, who owns the land, who is the beneficiary of the land holding. So, the answer is obvious. So, it definitely was not planned as a inclusive city, it was not planned as a neutral city. So, this is another major, in fact, there used to be discussion on how should be the recruitment. Recruitment should be from all areas for whatever is the post within the capital city. But there were also arguments stating that it should be from the local area. I don't know how it was finally resolved at a later stage, because I was not part of that discussion at a later stage. So, these three are the main issues which I think will impact any decision about the capital city as far as Andhra is concerned. So, of course, the other major issue that is being made out is about the insider trading. Insider trading, I would say, is the last issue. These three are the main issues, because wherever public investment comes substantially, there is bound to be insider trading, whoever knows the information. It happens everywhere around the world. In fact, I was told in Canberra, before location of the capital city, the influential political leaders of that period in Australia bought land in and around and then only located the capital city at Canberra. The only point is how big, how strong, how much. Out of the 30,000 acres, is it 1,000 acres, 2,000 acres, 10,000 acres, 15,000 acres? This government, which is making this claim about insider trading, which definitely has happened, has for the last 1.5 years failed to prove what is the extent, how much, how many are the beneficiaries. If it is at the stage of 20,000 acres, yes, then it's a major issue as far as the capital city is concerned. And then if it happened for 20,000 acres, the issue of farmers becomes that much smaller for the government to tackle. But unfortunately, till now the government is not able to come out with many reliable, realistic figures as far as the insider trading is concerned. So, we will wait for that to come before that can be factored in as a main issue in the complication of the capital issue as far as the Andhra Pradesh state is concerned. if this is the way, one can attribute substantial portion of the problem to the then Chief Minister Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, and he's taking a decision unilaterally without having a perspective of the historical background and then going in for a mega venture without realizing its implications in terms of the land pooling. The role played by the then opposition leader and the present Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh is no less in the whole sordid story. He was the main opposition leader when the issue was being discussed in the assembly. He came in and told, I wholeheartedly support the location of the capital city in Amaravati. In fact, on that day I was there in the CM office and with me was Anantapur leader Mr. J.C. Divakar Reddy, and he was flabbergasted and was turning to me and telling, look at this man, what is he saying? Outside he was saying, I'll go, I will oppose it, this, that, all that, and meekly comes inside and then says, I welcome it. At least he should have lodged his protest. As a Rayalaseema man, he was feeling very annoyed, angry and restless. In fact, he was discussing about Machalla, a place which he was suggesting should be the capital city. Then, when in 2019, when the elections took place, did he make this as one of the issues for the electoral agenda to be put before the people? No, this was never a part of the agenda or the manifesto of the YSRCP party. Then how do you get a political mandate to take a decision like this? So I think he doesn't have a political mandate to take this decision of relocating and making it into 3 capital cities. Then this whole issue of 3 capital cities also, let us have a little discussion, including the South African experience which Mr. Prakar Prabhakar quoted in his video. One, locating High Court in Kurnool is something that there should be a general consensus with everyone and it should go immediately, because locating High Court at Kurnool does not make it into a judicial capital. There are about 10-15 states in India where the High Court is located at a place other than the capital city, and they are functioning quite well. So that's neither here nor there. So that judicial capital thing, you leave it aside, call it relocation of the High Court at Kurnool, build up a consensus and shift it immediately. This should have done at that time also when Amaravati was located as the capital city, because this is part of the Sribhag agreement and it has a substantial historical perspective as well. So once that is done, then you are left with the assembly, legislative capital and the executive capital. For me, wherever it's finally going to be located, both are going to be at one place as far as Andhra Pradesh is concerned. Whether it is Vizag, Amaravati or some other place, whatever will come up as part of a consensus. Because for a state of Andhra Pradesh, between Vijayawada and Amaravati and Vizag, the distance is not that big. Culturally also there is not that much of a difference as to justify locating the assembly at a different place. And even for the local people, once they realize that there is no great economic value that this legislature is adding up to them, there will also be no objection. It's only a matter of time for some other chief minister or somebody at a later date to put them at one place, whether it is Vizag, Amaravati or a different place. So I think this whole thing about legislature being at a different place and executive being at a different place in the long run may lose its significance. And example of South Africa may not be very relevant here, because South Africa, the distances are huge, 1000 kilometers, 1500 kilometers, and so you have the logistical problems, other problems, but here it's just a 5 hours journey from one place to the other. So that type of a problem we may not face here. So that's one aspect which I thought I will just share with you. Then what is the way forward? This is the most important thing. I think unless you build up a broader consensus, because both are unilateral decisions. The decision of Chandrababu Naidu was unilateral. Today the decision of Jagan Mohan Reddy is equally unilateral. So the problem will continue in the same manner as long as these decisions are taken unilaterally. So you have to build up a broader consensus within the society and then go forward. Maybe One way of going about it, what Mr. Chandrababu Naidu has suggested a day back, why not have a referendum on this exclusive issue of location of the capital city? Amaravati, Vizag, 3 capitals, 1 capital, or a place totally away from both these 2 places as well. That's also a possibility. And then go to the people and ask them. That would give a legitimacy to whichever is the place is finally made the capital city. Then taking it out will not be all that easy. Then the other one, of course, wait for the courts to decide. But even after the courts decide, as long as the regional identities are so strong and people feel that their aspirations, their interests have been neglected while taking this decision wherever it is finally located, the issue is going to persist in spite of the court decision, and which in one way or the other. And that's the most essence that is expected of a leader with vision, to accept the diversity, to accept the identities, to accept that this is a problem which needs something on which we need to build up a broad consensus. Unfortunately, the past Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu and the present Chief Minister Mr. Jagan Reddy totally lack this visionary angle and are going in a very unilaterally and as if they are the soul and whole decision makers which has a bearing for future generations of Andhra Pradesh. I hope better sense would prevail and a broader consensus will be built around this issue before a final decision is taken. Thank you very much.
For more updates, like, comment, subscribe to our channel. Hey darlings, గంటని click చేయడం మర్చిపోకండి.